This is Madia-as Digdigan Buenaflor, extending an invitation to each and every one of you everywhere, as my way of commemorating the 75th anniversary of the end of World War II. I will read and serialize my novel, The Blood of Three, starting on Tuesday, August 27, and continuing episodes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Follow the drama on my YouTube channel. May we forever exhale and inhale love and peace. Chapter 14. Several wounded guerrillas arrived in their camp. Some just slumped down at the clearing where they were helped with whatever treatment was available. Colonel Holt and Ernesto sadly inspected their wounded. "There are 11 wounded," Ernesto reported. The colonel shook his head. "And how many casualties?" he asked. "Two, sir." Ernesto could hardly say the word. The co-pilot was trapped in the plane, not sure up to now whether he died or captured. There was a tone of desperation in Colonel Holt's voice. He did not wish the American co-pilot dead, but he did not want him captured either. Very much aware of the punishment and torture the prisoners were subjected to by the Japanese, just so they could extract valuable information from them, he dreaded the thought. How long the American would be able to endure the punishment, and how steadfast in his silence, he could not be sure. "I'll be in my hut, Captain. I would like to talk with the pilot as soon as he is treated." "Yes, sir." The colonel walked back to his hut, greatly devastated. Ernesto remained, waiting and hoping. The Toribio's 3 men would be back just wounded and not dead as he feared. This sad episode will have great adverse effect, not only in their number, but more so in their morale. From the hut emerged a young and lanky American, his right arm wrapped in bandages. Were it not for the bandages, nothing else showed. The horrible experience he had just undergone. He looked admirably unshaken and strong, except for a shadow of sadness in his liquid gray eyes. "How is the wound, Lieutenant Moore?" It was Ernesto who met him. "Not as bad, Captain," the lieutenant matter-of-factly replied. "Any news about Jimmy? I mean, Lieutenant Walter?" "None so far, but I left 2 men in town, and before the day ends, we will know." "Say thanks for saving my life." There was a grateful tone in his nasal voice. "Forget it, we failed to save Lieutenant Walter." Ernesto still felt the guilt of not being able to save the co-pilot. "Oh, you did your best, Captain." "Are you ready to meet Colonel Holt?" "Sure." The two walked to meet with Colonel Holt. "He's such a nice fellow, Jimmy." Lieutenant Moore casually opened the subject again. "And he was quite young, just 23. Does he have a family?" "He's got a pretty wife, Blanche, and 2 darling kids. Never met them personally, but he showed me their pictures and endlessly talked about them. He had plans of buying a farm and settling down there when the war was over. He's such a dreamer of a guy. I like him very much." "I'm sorry about that, but as you have seen, the enemy forces are very much superior and better armed. If we only have those arms, we would at least have a chance and minimize casualties and prevent great losses. Very soon you'll receive the arms and supplies. We're here, Lieutenant Moore, waiting and ready to fight." Ernesto pushed open the door of Colonel Holt's hut, and Lieutenant Moore followed him. "Colonel Holt, this is Lieutenant Moore." Lieutenant Moore saluted and shook the colonel's extended hand. "We're sorry about your co-pilot, Lieutenant. Please sit down. Your men did their best, sir. But if he were captured..." Colonel Holt's voice was filled with anxiety. "I doubt it if he survived the explosion, but if he did, he'll manage, sir. I'm afraid the Japanese may find a way of extracting from him the classified nature of your mission. Jimmy, Lieutenant Walter is a brave young man and a born soldier. He'll die rather than give away our mission." There was a brief silence, and then after talking a little more about Lieutenant Walter, Lieutenant Moore proceeded to render his reconnaissance report. The fortress looked menacing and formidable. From the aerial view, the garrison is well protected and its manpower is staggering. We understand there is a huge number of prisoners. It won't be advisable for an aerial attack. How soon would the American fleet come? Within a couple of weeks, maybe. The final decision would depend on our findings. I have to get in touch with headquarters right away, sir. Captain, take Lieutenant Moore to the communication hut. Follow me, Lieutenant. Ernesto left, followed by Lieutenant Moore. He saw Dison briskly walking away from the direction of the hut, and apprehension immediately crept in. But why would Lieutenant Dison eavesdrop? He asked himself. He must be quite a curious man, but Ernesto was sure it was not mere curiosity this time. He promised to get to the bottom of this. However, he had more urgent matters to attend to. This way, Lieutenant, Ernesto walked ahead, closely followed by the American pilot. Dison had by now gone far from the camp. He had reached the creek where the men bathed. He took a quick swim and casually checked around for the presence of any guerrilla. Dressed and left, taking the winding narrow path that led to the town. Pumped up and optimistic, it took Dison 3 hours to reach town. He could hardly wait to deliver to Colonel Hiroshi his newly acquired information. With his password, Dison easily got inside the garrison. He was instantly led to the office of Colonel Hiroshi, where a close conference was held for him alone. After sketching the site of the camp, Dison proceeded with his report. The American pilot had information of the landing of General MacArthur's forces in 2 weeks. On the site of the landing, the colonel was barely able to conceal his excitement. This province, Dison was positive. A reconnaissance plane was in preparation for the coming landing. You have done a good job, Lieutenant Dison, Colonel Hiroshi commended him. Dison felt proud and relieved. Now he could stay in the garrison and enjoy once again the bountiful food and comfort he missed during his stay with the guerrillas. May I visit my brothers and sisters in Manila? There was happy anticipation in Dison's voice, having missed them. You'll go back to the guerrilla headquarters. Your job is not finished. The colonel's order abruptly dampened Dison's spirit. He did not feel safe going back to the camp, for he had sensed the growing suspicion directed at him, especially from Captain Duran. Be sure to obtain the exact landing site of General MacArthur's forces. I need the information fast. Yes, sir. Dison was a trained and disciplined man, and he knew it was futile to argue with the colonel. One more assignment and he's home free. The colonel pushed the button under his desk. The door opened and Captain Tagore entered. Captain Tagore, send out your men, gather all Filipino civilians, and concentrate in the town. In this crucial time, we need complete control of everyone's movement. The colonel meant business. Yes, Colonel. The captain saluted and bowed. You have other instruction, Captain Tagore. Wait. Yes, sir. Lieutenant Dison, I expect your report soon. Don't fail me. I won't, sir. That's all, Lieutenant, and good luck. Dison executed a salute and walked out of the room. Any report from the American pilot? The colonel asked Captain Tagore. None, sir. The American won't talk. This pilot was here for an important reconnaissance mission. Lieutenant Dison had confirmed the landing by the Americans within 2 weeks. Do we have the location of the guerrilla camp, sir? Yes, but I don't intend to use it now until Lieutenant Dison had required details of the landing operation. What would you like me to do, sir? Talk to the pilot, but do it gently. I don't want any brutality toward our officer prisoners. Outside the colonel's office, Sergeant Mamoto was obviously bothered long after Dison passed his desk. He had never been called to the colonel's office for a conference. Now how he hated to see a Filipino, an enemy, overshadow him. He detested the idea of employing Filipino spies. It took too much time. He believed in efficiency, in fast results. Soon the captain emerged from the colonel's office. Sergeant Mamoto could see the problem visibly lined on his face. Sergeant Mamoto, I have a job for you to do. Complete defiance of the colonel's order. If the colonel needed it desperately, he, Captain Tagore, had to do what would work. Not persuasion, not doing it gently. The captain knew just the man to do it. He wanted to extract information from the American pilot, and fast. Do it your way. It's done, Captain. The sergeant grinned with a feeling of exhilaration. Finally, he could lay his hands on the enemy, especially an American. This was his one big chance to have the enemy at his mercy. I want result at once. Yes, sir. Sergeant Mamoto fished out from a side drawer of his desk a polished brass knuckle, straightened his shoulders, and marched out speedily. Passing through the guard station along the corridor leading to the stockade for prisoners, Sergeant Mamoto was flattered by the salutes he received from all of them. Opened the door to the American pilot. The bolted door was opened, and Sergeant Mamoto proudly strode in. He walked to Lieutenant Walter, whose two hands were tied up to a steel hook on the concrete wall. The head of the American hung down, with the brass knuckles in his right hand. Sergeant Mamoto turned the prisoner's head to face him. Start talking. When and where is the exact location of General MacArthur's landing here in Luzon? The American just looked at him sharply through his half-closed eyes. Talk, I said. He shouted. But just like before, Lieutenant Walter did not budge. He stared at him with contempt. You fool. Talk or you'll regret it right this moment, and not the rest of your life. Never, snapped Lieutenant Walter. You will tell me the truth if you want to go home to your wife and children. Mamoto tried every way he could, but he saw an inner strength and determination in the American. It won't work, Sergeant. You will live if you cooperate, but you will die if you don't. Suit yourself. You make me angry, he slapped him. This will get you nowhere. Lieutenant Fern spat at him. You hard-headed fool, you will suffer for this. Mamoto hit him across the face with the brass knuckles. An ugly cut oozed out blood. Idiot. He struck him in his stomach in rapid succession. Now he was furiously shouting filthy words, but Lieutenant Walter stoically remained silent, gritting his teeth in pain as the steely knuckles found its mark and it crumpled into a ball. But not a sound escaped from the American. This further infuriated Sergeant Mamoto. Talk. Where is the exact landing place? Talk. In obvious exasperation, Mamoto struck Lieutenant Walter's head, and his cracked skull spurted blood. Talk. But Lieutenant Walter just looked up at him blankly and passed out. You will talk, he grumbled. Guard, the sergeant screamed. The guard entered. Pour water. Sergeant Mamoto paced the stony floor, his whole body shaking from the fury of his frustration. He was given this mission, and he swore he would not fail. He never failed in anything, never, and not now. I swear it you will talk, he cursed, as the guard poured a pail of filthy water over Lieutenant Walter's face. As soon as Lieutenant Walter regained consciousness, Sergeant Mamoto started all over again, interrogating and hitting the prisoner, but just the same, he got no answer. Just a weak shaking of the American's head and a blank stare. Lieutenant Walter was hardly recognizable, but his will was as indomitable as ever. He remained unshaken. Overcome by an uncontrollable madness, Sergeant Mamoto ordered the guard to force open the prisoner's mouth. He poured water, an entire pail, into the gargling mouth of the prisoner. Not content, he stepped on his bloated belly, and water flashed out in streams. At the gate of the compound, Dison was escorted by the Japanese soldier after having been served a sumptuous meal. He was being led out when a group of suspected Filipino civilians were dragged in, one of them resisting violently. The man had been beaten and was bleeding, but he kept on hollering back at the Japanese soldiers. God forgive me for what I'll do as soon as I get out of here, you beast. My wife and children are harmless, but you have imprisoned them too. It was Pedro, venting out. His wife Trina, their son Mario, and their 3 other children, and the baby were placed in the public market herded together with the rest of the civilians. Without thinking for his own safety and the consequence from his act, Pedro followed them and demanded their release. The Japanese had to drag him out and drove him to the garrison for questioning. Now they suspected him to be a guerrilla. "Let me go." The sight of a Filipino appearing friendly with the Japanese drove Pedro crazy. He struggled and confronted Dizon. "Spy," he yelled and spat on Dizon's face. The Japanese escort of Dizon struck Pedro on the head with the butt of his rifle. Dizon walked out of the compound seething. As soon as Dizon was out of the garrison, he checked around to assure himself that no one had seen him. He hurriedly walked away but caught a glimpse of a figure that quickly disappeared. He was not certain if the person was following him, but that made him suspicious and alert. From where he was, he saw trucks filled with civilians who were herded and dumped into the public market. He had to get out of there fast. He could hear the wailing and cries of women and children, packed like sardines in the barbed-wired marketplace, with just the cold concrete floor and the roof over their heads. But the sight had not touched Dizon. He just passed by and continued walking until he reached the outskirts of the town. Once again, he noticed the same figure which seemed to be following him. When he reached the field outside of town, he caught a full view of the man. It was Rudy, the mess boy at the guerrilla camp. Now he was sure he had been followed. He was not sure that he would be in trouble as soon as Rudy reached the camp. Dizon thought fast and a bright idea dawned on him. He continued to walk very casually, appearing not to be aware that he was being followed. Just like before, he could sense Rudy tailing him, and as soon as he got to the winding narrow trail leading toward the mountains, he quickly turned and drew his pistol and fired twice at Rudy. Hurriedly, he walked back to where Rudy had fallen. The bullets had pierced his heart, but he was still breathing. Rudy looked at Dizon with a look of contempt. "Who sent you to follow me?" Dizon questioned him, his right foot on Rudy's belly as he looked down at him. "Damn you, traitor!" Rudy coughed and blood flowed up from the side of his mouth. Dizon fired another round, this time to his head. Rudy jerked and stiffened, his eyes still wide open, still looking at him, as if mocking him for his treachery, and warning him that he would never get away with it. Dizon kicked him to make sure he was dead, then hurriedly left for the mountains. That's all for today, to be continued on Tuesdays and Thursdays. May we all forever exhale and inhale love and peace. Thanks for being with me today. I hope you will inspire me with a like, share, and subscribe.